Oh, good morning. There you are.
Yes, hello.
Good
Uh,
morning, Alexander. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. And you?
I'm also doing good. How's you? I mean, probably just started your Tuesday. Where are you? Are you based in Armenia?
In Spain, in Spain.
In Spain. Oh, so you're
Yes.
an hour ahead. So it's also still the morning for you. How's your Tuesday?
A little bit worse than Monday.
Worse than Monday, and Monday usually is the worst
Yes,
day of the week.
because my Monday was off. So,
Okay, okay, fair enough. Then in that case, Tuesday
and
must be a
yours
bit.
one?
I mean, just started. Still 9 in the morning, so still early in the day. Not any reasons for it not to be a good day yet.
Okay, okay, good.
So
So, I
we'll
mean,
see.
we can start, and my assistant will join.
Okay, yeah, that was going to be my question. I thought I saw that
Yes,
there was Aliona was going to join, but in this case,
yes,
no, that's completely
but
fine.
le-
That's
but
completely fine.
but
There
let's
she
move
is.
on.
Yeah,
So,
that's
from your
perfect.
side, we don't
There she
wait
is.
for anyone else, right?
There she is. From my side, I mean, we're
Hello.
all good. Good morning, Aliona. How you doing?
Good morning. Yeah, good.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, we're just about to get started, so that was great timing. On my side, I mean, I think for now it's only me. If then there's a need for anyone else to come on, then I'm happy to reschedule and have anyone else come on. But for now, I think I'll do the trick. Let's say. But perfect. I mean, if you guys are ready,
Perfect.
I'm also ready. Um, I'd first like to just thank you for coming and finding us and listening to what I have to say. And I mean, I had a good look at your website. I think I understand fairly well what it is that you do, but obviously, you being the CEO, you'll know better than anyone. So if you could also just give me a bit of a rundown and especially what you're looking for, that would be great.
Great. So, as you probably read, we are the service company for the BI and data services. So, for the any company actually, we are building the BI tool, regardless the pack of the tools and platforms which are used on their site.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you enter the customer, the central team might use the core solution, let's say ABC,
Mm-hmm.
for whatever they need, and it cannot you cannot implement anything else. Or you enter the customer and they say, we just need to get this report with this visualization
Mm-hmm.
and open bar for all the tools and platforms which are needed. Maybe the only concern might be the cost,
Okay.
as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So then this is normally what we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
We enter the customer, we are listening to their pain, and then we build the pipeline to prepare their data,
Okay.
uh, aggregate probably their data and somehow merge it, and then
Mm-hmm.
to visualize. And this is normally our pipeline because
Okay.
everyone want to see not only the data but also the reports, dashboards, and the stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Okay. Got it. Got it. I mean, that doesn't. Yeah.
And the purpose why we are here today
Exactly.
is that we are want to expand and we are looking for the new customers.
Okay. That makes sense. And in terms of when you say expand, where are your customers at the moment? Because I saw that your website it says Armenia. I don't know if your customers are because I saw that you also already have a good base database of clients and strong ones like Alpro, Danone, Evian. So I was just trying to understand then how did you come first? How did you come about these customers? And second,
Mhm.
where would you like to expand to, and where you're already based?
So the company is indeed based in Armenia, and another legal entity is based in Arab Emirates.
Okay,
But all the majority of the customers, the ones which you mentioned, are placed in Europe.
Europe, yeah.
And as in Europe are also there like the core or central IT team,
Hmm.
all the projects which we are doing with them are worldwide. Not
Okay,
all the projects, but the part of
most
the
of them.
projects which we are doing with them are worldwide
Okay,
because they are managing what system or tools should be implemented here and there.
okay. And in terms of
So
how did you find them? How did you come about having them as clients?
it's just networking.
Just network. Okay, so you're not running any kind
Yes.
of campaigns, any lead generation, any
No, no,
ads, any
no,
nothing.
no,
Okay, just network.
no, no. But we are with these customers for the last 12 years, actually.
Okay, well,
That's
so that's a
why.
long time. Okay, and then probably referrals as well. And
Yeah, but for referrals and all the people we know there. they're still there, and that's why we cannot jump from this big customer to another big one,
Okay, fair
and
enough.
that's the purpose why we are here.
Okay, no, I got
So
it. That makes sense. That does make sense. And then you said that most of them are in Europe. So then, when you say expand, are you looking to go to America, Asia,
when I
Middle
say
East?
expand, I mean expand in terms of the customers and in terms of the revenue. And
Okay, no,
location is not super important because after the COVID,
mm,
no one is taking care about where the provider is located.
okay, no, fair enough.
And if you need to travel, which happens, and there are a couple of requests like that, then we can travel. So it's not
Okay,
a big deal.
okay. So I thought that your services would then be done remotely. So is it the case that sometimes you have to travel for your work
You
to
know,
meet people?
the majority of the services indeed can be rendered remotely, but when we are talking, for example, training, we do it on site very
Or,
furniture.
I think something happened to your audio because I can't hear you very. I don't know if Aliona also has the
Yeah,
same.
same
Can you
Okay,
actually.
hear me?
okay.
Working.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me now?
yeah. Now it's a bit better. Now it's a bit better. It's just cracking up. Yeah,
Okay.
sure. You're saying.
So, for the on-site, either we meet some important customers or the
Mm,
stakeholder from the customer side, or we provide in the on-site trainings
okay.
just to animate with users
Okay.
more interactively, let's say.
Got it. That does make sense. And then in terms of, for example,
But
industries.
indeed,
Go, go.
90% of the services are
Uh,
performed remote.
Remote. Okay, yeah, that's more what I had in mind. That makes sense. And then in terms of, for example, industries, is there any industries that you'd rather uh, us reaching out to? Are you industry agnostic? Is it something that, because from what I'm seeing from the clients that you already
Actually,
have, it seems a bit diverse. So I'm assuming that there's no real preference.
mainly it's a FMCG company and so fast-moving consumer goods. So they produce and they sell.
Mm,
Also, we have the experience with the company which does some construction stuff like Perry, the
okay.
German one. But we don't care too much about the industry because we are providing the service on the data, on
Hmm.
the visualization, and we can visualize whatever you want actually and whatever data.
Got it. And I was also then on your website and I saw that you have a few different services. So I can see here it's project and support, consulting, infrastructure and architecture, and then training. So you have roughly four different
Mhm.
services. Do you want to push any more than others? Are we pushing the company as a whole? So are we pushing data pipeline as a whole, or are we pushing just one of the service? Or would you like to
I would
navigate it?
prefer to push the company as a whole because what is happening normally, let's say half of the projects which we are doing, we are mixing services because
Okay.
first you deliver the project, then you perform the ongoing support for the project
Mm-hmm.
on the subscription mode.
Okay.
When you're doing the project, you need to take care about infrastructure and the cost of
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure, so total cost of ownership. And for sure, once the pro data and analytical product is delivered, you're taking care about the users and the
Mm-hmm.
trainings.
Okay. No, that does make sense. I'm just saying because sometimes is it the case that, for example, companies would like to push one service and get their foot through the door, and then once you're in, then you expand other services. But we can work with promoting the company as a whole, and then it's just that is completely fine with it. We've completely done it in the past. So I think I understand what you do. Push the company in terms of locations doesn't really matter. It's just then the goal would then be to grow your customer base and your revenue. That's the ultimate success. Then what success is to you.
Exactly,
Okay, it
exactly,
doesn't really matter
exactly.
who we go after in terms of industries, even though there's beverages and food, construction, and then we can figure the rest out. And then, okay, no, that does make sense. And then, in terms of then a lead to you, this is also something that is very important to clarify. In terms of leads, then what does to you constitute then a lead? Is it someone who is budget qualified, knows exactly what you're doing, or is it someone who just shows interest and wants to know more? Is it marketing qualified? Is it sales qualified? I just want to understand that. Then,
Maybe I'm not so deep into the sales process which you're
Mhm.
offering, so if you can help me to distinguish what is marketing qualified, what is sales qualified. then I can answer
Okay.
you.
No, I'm assuming that then will be sales qualified because marketing qualified is just someone who not we mentioned your product, they showed interest, and we set a meeting. Sales qualified is someone who showed interest. We explained them to them the budgets, the products, everything, timeframes, everything that you'd like us to share, and then once they really agree with all of that, then we send them off to you. It's a bit different. It's just in terms of qualification. The sales qualified would be a lot more qualified. So I'm assuming that should be the one. Usually, it's the case.
On, on the short term, I would try both. I would, like to do the A/B test.
Mm-hmm.
So for the half of the leads, I would take the marketing, and I
Okay.
would probably better sell by myself. And
Okay.
for the other part, I would try to sell with you and to
Okay.
see what is the approach better and works better. Because
Okay.
when you ask someone to explain what you are doing, it will
Mm-hmm.
never
Be as
work
good as
as
you. Obviously, yeah. 100%. No, I mean, in terms of that, you would always close the deals, if that makes sense. The only difference is that there is a bigger risk with marketing qualified leads that you will not be wasting your time, but they won't be, since they're not qualified, they might not be too aware of what they're going to discuss. They might not be as interested. Whereas if it's sales qualified, then they're there for a reason, and then you can just come in and close the deal, if that makes sense. So
okay.
there's the two versions of it. It's just that obviously
But
sales.
in any case, I would try for both.
Okay, no, that's completely fine. That's completely fine.
So can you tell us a couple of words about you and your company? So the
Yeah, 100%.
location, how long you're in the
Okay.
market, and what are the main, let's say, services
Mm-hmm.
which you are super good at.
That sounds perfect. Yeah, I was just trying to understand then as much as I can about your company so that I can also now frame how we would go about the strategy for you. But to answer your questions, in terms of location, we're based in the UK, so in London. And in terms of how long we've been in the market, we've been doing this for 8 years. It's going to be our 8th year now, so going strong for a long time already. And in terms of the services, we started as an SEO agency. We specialize in SEO, and then from then on, we've started conquering adjacent expertises. So SEO is a great channel of lead generation, and so from then on, we started focusing on lead generation as well, not only SEO but then also the outbound as well. And then, for example, even with the lead generation and the SEO, we found that something that is incredibly beneficial for both is PR and branding. And so we also then started focusing on branding because a good branding will improve your lead generation efforts as well as your SEO. So we started developing knowledge in all of these areas to then solidify our services as a whole and the compound value of it. So that's a bit about ourselves and I and how we came about and why we're sitting here today. But to answer your question and to in the strategy for you, I think that definitely, and from experience, because we've done this in the past for other companies, I think that outbound lead generation would be the best strategy. So in terms of outbound, and when I say exactly.
What does it mean? Outbound
Exactly,
lead generation?
exactly. That's what I was. I always say outbound lead generation and assume that everyone knows it, and then I remember that not everyone will know 100%. So, in terms of outbound lead generation, we have cold calling, cold email, LinkedIn lead generation. So we have the three services. Not many agencies will have the three ones. We use the
Mhm.
three ones because so you can use them independently or in combination or even all of them. Personally, we recommend that you use all of them for the simple reason that you'll
Okay.
have a bigger reach because we'll use all the channels to reach out and we'll use all the channels to qualify the leads. And that's where the sales qualified comes from. Because if you only use one channel, then you'll probably come up with a marketing qualified lead because we only send them a LinkedIn message and we say, hey, this is about us. Would you like to have a chat? And they won't have a lot of information. But if we use the three channels, then for example, I'll send the message on LinkedIn because LinkedIn tends to be a good place for these campaigns and it tends to hold good results. So let's say I meet John, I'll send them a message. Hey, John, I come from data pipeline, and this is a bit about what we do, everything that we price, our prices, everything. And then once the response from this is good, I'll send them an email as well, and I'll say, hey, my name is John. We've been speaking on LinkedIn. Here's a bit more about our price, our company, our offering, everything. And then once the responses from this is good, I'll then finish up with a call, and I'll say, hey, my name is John. We've been speaking on LinkedIn, email. I think that you really should have a call with Alexander. I can see that he has a booking available for next Friday at 12, for example. And then we try to book the call book the meeting on the call. And by doing so, and by using each channel, then we can make sure that the person is as well informed, as aware, and as relevant as possible. Because as a CEO, I know I'm sure that you have more to do than to sit in front of people that don't really know what they're doing. So this is our guarantee that everyone that we're going to be sitting in front of you is as meaningful as possible. And this is roughly how the process looks. I don't know if you
And
have
what
any
is the
questions so far.
penetration rate based on your experience?
Sorry?
So what is the penetration rate? Because when I hear the cold calls or cold emails,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit scared. I never read it.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. That is a good question. So, why we like to use the three channels is because, as I said, in the beginning, we'll use all the channels to reach out to people. And then once we start doing so, we can understand which channel is working best. And it's hard to tell ahead of time because we've had very good successes with both phone calls, emails, LinkedIn. So it depends a bit from campaign to campaign and where you want to target, who you want to target, the positions you want to target. So it's a bit it varies. But as I was saying, usually for these kinds of campaigns, I find that LinkedIn is a great place to start. And with LinkedIn, we usually have a response rate of around 30%. So it's quite a high response rate. And then once we have those responses, then we have our foot through the door where we can then follow up with emails, can follow up with calls, and we already have the conversations going. But this to say, I mean, we've had very good results also from calls, for example, because calls is the thing that you're saying. It's very hard to get people on the phone, but once you do have them on the phone, you're talking directly to a person, and it's a lot easier to communicate your values, your USPs, and get an answer on the call because it's a lot better to get a quick no than to get a long maybe. And so with the calls, that's exactly what you can do. You can get a response on the call, and that's the best thing about calls. So even though it's a bit hard to get people on the phone, once you do get them, then you can understand the results a lot better, and also the feedback from people. Because once you're on the call, you can understand about their tonality, about how they really feel about your product and your offering.
How many you are?
In terms of the company, we are. I mean, at the
Mhm.
moment, I think we're 74. I think, but I mean, there won't be 74 people working on your campaign. But in terms of your campaign, I think it should be around 15 to 20 people in terms of the people who would then generate the lists, the people for the emails, calls, the cold callers, account managers, LinkedIn managers as well. So you have a bunch of people on your team as well. I'll also be part of the team to just oversee and make sure that everything's going on all right.
And out of these 30%, let's say response rate on LinkedIn, for example, what is the real sales rate?
Real sales rate, that is something that, I mean, in terms of the sales rate, it'll depend a bit on you as well, because our job will be to book the meetings and have them attend the meetings. Then in terms of a closing rate, that will be something that will also then depend on you, and or you, I'm saying you, I don't know if you have a sales team, I don't know if we'll be booking calls into your calendar or if into someone from the team. I don't know. Is it you or someone from the team as well? Do you have a sales team?
It will be someone from the team as well.
Okay. So I mean, then there is something that in terms of close rate, it's a bit hard. In terms of close rate, that's the difference, and the difference comes with the marketing qualified leads and the sales qualified leads, where the sales qualified leads will have a bigger close rate because they are already aware about the pricing, the products, everything. So it'll
Mhm.
be they'll be more informed, so it'll be easier to close because if they're there, they kind of already agree with what they heard. The marketing qualified leads, there will be more, but it will be a bit of a hit and miss in the terms that sometimes they might not agree with the pricing, might not agree with the product, so it's a bit harder.
When you're talking about this, you haven't mentioned uh, your existing contacts, if I can.
Is it, sorry, the audio keeps cracking up a bit. Our existing contacts.
Contacts.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
if you already made the sales, I don't know, of some, I don't know, Hewlett Packard, for example, some infrastructure stuff to someone,
Hmm.
why not to sell the IT services on top of that?
In terms of the contacts for ourselves, in terms of our clients, then we can suggest your product.
In terms of the leads, yes,
Mhm.
and it will not be the cold one, it will be like the super hot one because you're already working with some of them and already selling something to them.
Okay, so you're saying people that we already service, if we can then suggest your services to them, or you,
The second approach, actually, but my first approach, the clients to whom you already sold some of your the leads to whom you already sold some of your custom services or products,
Mhm.
why not to contact these customers again if
Yeah,
you
I
are
mean,
in a
we
good,
can have if we're in a good relationship with them. Now that, I mean, that we can definitely do, and we can have a look at that. But I mean, in terms of,
yeah, but I mean, you didn't mention, right? So what is the reason?
I mean, because I'll explain then the how the process would look like, and then maybe that would be easy to also then get a sense of how things would work. So in terms of how it would work, as I said, I'll I'll go from the beginning so that you can get a clear sense of everything. So the way that it works is if we do choose to work together, I'll send you a payment link. This is a Stripe payment link. You can process it online. Once that's done, I'll send you a big onboarding form. It's said to be quite painfully long, but it's for the sake of your campaign. It's just a bunch of questions to understand as much as you can about you, about your company, about your goals, about everything. And once that's done, we'll set a strategy call that will be with our founder, yourself, any relevant members of each team. And in here, we'll go over the onboarding form to understand how to structure your campaign as best as possible and outline the best possible strategy. So in here, we'll get a better sense of if we were going to be focusing more on the calls, on the email, on the LinkedIn, or on all of them. And after this, we're ready to start. Once we start, we'll understand also who you want to target. So your ICPs, everything, your industries, your geographies, everything. And once that's done, we'll create a big outreach list, which would be
Okay.
focused on, again, as I said, any of the targeting factors. So geographies, role titles, industries, whatever it might be. We'll segment it into different lists, create different copies for each list, create different scripts for each list, and then from here we'll start reaching out, and that's how we work. I mean, if you would like to for us to reach out to some of the customers that we have already had success with, I mean, more than happy to do so as well, because as you said, we already have a good relationship with them, so that's something that we could look at. It's just a matter of understanding if it then makes sense for us in terms of your campaign to reach out to them. But in terms of who we would be reaching out to, that's a bit how we would do it. We would create a big list, and then we'll start reaching out. We use all the three channels to reach out, and then once we start having the responses, if it's a bad response, we'll put them into one list. If it's a maybe, we'll put them in another list. If it's a strong yes, we'll put them in another list, and we'll segment it into lists depending on how and then the responses are. And then we start moving on a more ongoing basis, and as we understand also how the process is developing.
Okay. Super clear. So what about the pricing?
So in terms of pricing and the way that we price it, as I said, we have three different components, and we can price it. We price it by component basically. So if you choose either one of them, so cold calling, cold email, LinkedIn, it's £2,497. If it's two of them, it's 3,497. If it's all three, it's 4,497. So it goes in increments of 1,000. It's roughly 2.5, 3.5, 4.5.
Mhm.
So
And this is monthly rate or what? How it
exactly, that's how I
works?
was going. So this is per month, and in
Mhm.
terms of, and another thing that usually it's the next question is in terms of contracts. We don't really work with contracts for the simple reason that we don't want you to be tied to us by a contract that you don't want to be a part of. We work as a pay-as-you-go service. So if you're going to be working together, it's because we present you with good results and you want to be working with us. Because a lot of things, one of the biggest complaints that people come to us is, I was working with a lead generation agency, the leads weren't great, they weren't communicative, but I couldn't leave because I was tied to a contract. And our way
Mhm.
to resolve that is we don't really work with contracts. We can provide you with a service letter agreement where we just basically outline everything that we commit to deliver to you so that you can have it in writing and everything signed off so that you can refer to it. But it's not binding. It's not binding, and you're welcome. If you at any time feel like you don't like the results, then you're welcome to leave.
Mhm. Okay, clear. And so when we have the sales lead, so this is where your work is stopped, right?
So
It's
our
like that?
yeah, yeah, I mean, then we can we've worked with all fashions, and then it's again a bit about how you'd like to structure your campaign, because we can either start by creating the list, reach out, book the meetings into your calendar, and that's it. Or we've had it that we have a more hands-on approach where we can attend some of the meetings with you. We can take the meetings for you. We can do the whole entire sales process, and then we'll basically be outsourcing a whole sales team. So it depends a bit on how you'd like to structure. Usually, our job ends when we book the meeting, and then that's it. Because the scope of it would be appointment setting. And appointment setting, that's it. We create the list, we reach out, we book the meeting, and we
This
put into.
appointment setting is with the sales leads and not with the marketing leads, right?
No, that depends. I mean, appointment setting is setting appointments. If it is marketing qualified or sales qualified, then it's a bit about you, because some people say, I want you to send as many leads our way. It doesn't matter if they're sales qualified, marketing qualified, just send them our way, and then we'll go about answering. Other people say that, okay, now if I want to be sitting in front of someone, I want it to be as relevant as possible. I only want sales qualified leads. So it depends a bit, because obviously marketing qualified leads, there will be a lot more of them because they aren't as qualified. Sales qualified leads, there will be a bit less because as we try to qualify them, they might drop out along the process. So that's a bit also the difference in terms of
Okay.
numbers. Yeah. And
Then we can start even with the sales leads, right?
yeah,
Because
100%.
then I said that
I think that the sales qualified leads are always the best place to start because they'll be a lot more relevant and a lot more meaningful to you. But also, we can, if someone shows interest, then we can include them. We'll aim for sales qualified leads, but if we find any kind of marketing qualified leads, then we'll also send them your way so that you can also reach out to them 100%. And
okay.
but one thing that is important to note, and it's something that I was looking when I looked at your website, is that you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that you haven't had a lot of SEO work done on your website
Not all.
at all. Yeah,
We are
exactly.
we are rebuilding it.
That was going to be my next question because it always happens. I say something about the website, and then they always say that we're either rebuilding the website, revamping the website. So you do have a new website coming. That was going to be my next question.
The design and the behavior.
So it's in design. Is that what you said?
I mean, it's my
I can't hear. I don't know if Aliona
No,
is
me
this time.
neither. Me neither. I can
Okay, yeah.
hear it. Yeah.
We both can't. I think it's something with the headsets. Sometimes it cracks up a bit.
yeah. What else now? It's the minor changes in the design and behavior of the site remain.
No, that's actually now it's worse. Now it's worse. I can hear anything.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I heard it's like minor changes to the design. Maybe it's the battery. I don't know. Oh, now we lost him completely. That's even worse. Now I can't hear him.
No, I guess he's gonna join again.
Yeah,
Actually.
no, I'm joking. Or if you would like to take the meeting yourself, I don't know.
No.
I
Oh,
don't
wait,
know.
actually, I had a question
Yeah, go
because
on.
I mean you have like and in your webpage you have like lead generation services and sales services. Is there any like difference? I mean, because you mentioned about marketing qualified leads and sales
That would
qualified
be the
leads.
difference between us only setting the meetings or us taking the meetings as well. It's where we can come in as your sales partner or just lead generation partner. That is the biggest difference.
Okay.
I hope that helps. All right, I think let's try Alexander. I can hear you now. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so what I said that for the site we are just playing some minor changes in design and behavior, nothing else.
Okay, now that is completely fine. Understood. Because there's two things that I'd like to say about your website. And first is that I can clearly see that it hasn't had SEO work done on it. And SEO is always important, not only because it's a organic way of people finding you, so it's where the inbound leads come from. And the benefit of inbound leads, and as I'm assuming that you're not too well informed about the lead generation process, that the difference between outbound leads and inbound leads is that obviously if it's outbound, you're going to have to go after people and you're not always going to know if they need your product. It's going to be a question of numbers game where you reach out to as many people as possible and you hope to find someone who needs your products. With inbound leads, the difference is that they are qualified by nature, because if someone comes to your website, it's because they typed on Google one of your services and they are looking for your services and they came about your website. So if they are there, it's because they are already qualified and they want to engage with your product. And that's where SEO comes in. Personally, and as per Lemon, we have a big emphasis on SEO, also because it was our origin. But in terms of our leads, our SEO provides us with around 30 to 40 leads every day just from the SEO. And its leads are already qualified. They're a lot more meaningful than the outbound ones. We also also have outbound channels, but we focus more on SEO because of that. Because A, we don't have to go after them; they'll come to us, and then B, they'll be already qualified, and that's important in terms of SEO. because I can see that you haven't had any SEO done, because you don't have meta titles, description, your canonicals, which are missing. In terms of links, there's minimal links as well. So there's a few telltale signs that you haven't had a lot of SEO work done, and it's something that could also be beneficial, because in terms of the lead generation, as I said, there's a lot of ways to generate leads. One of them is outbound. Another one is SEO. There's also running ads. I don't know if you had any experience with running ads, but it could also be beneficial. Also, no. I
No.
mean, oh, got it. I mean, yeah.
But tell us about if you can just borrow some time of you. So
Yeah,
for the
well, okay,
CEO, how it works and what it needs to have the CEO for our website.
So in terms of SEO, how it works is there's four main pillars for SEO. So the first one is the overall website structure. Make sure that everything's optimized in terms of site fixes, page speed, everything in terms of the actual structure of the website needs to be optimized. Then in the things that I was mentioning, so meta titles, meta descriptions, the alt text for the images, there's a lot of things in terms of the website structure. Then there's the keyword targeting. So we would target the keywords that will be relevant to you, which in this case would relate to your services. So it could be anything from, let me just pull up your services. So it could be anything from data analytics projects, reporting and analytics, data architecture, machine learning, data governance, data solutions, anything that could be relevant to your business. We'll try to rank you for these keywords so that when people search these keywords, you come up and you're the logical option for them. There's content. So content is also very important. So the content on your website, because then this will not only help you establish yourself as a authority in the space, also assert your expertise, but also will help you rank for the keywords, because we'll put these keywords within the content and it'll make the content SEO friendly to help you rank for these keywords. And then there's the linking structure. So all the referring links that come to your website and refer your website, which tends to help not only rank you higher, but also give your domain a bit more authority, which is incredibly important to help you rank. So these are basically the four things. There's a few more things, but these are the main ones that will have the biggest impact on your SEO. And these are the
And
things
in
that we can
terms of,
also.
yes, clear. And in terms of cost and the timeline, what
So
is more
that's
or
the
less?
difference. That's the difference. So outbound, the results will be a lot quicker, because we're going to start reaching out straight away. We're going to see people. We're going to be speaking to people. People are going to reply. With SEO is a bit different, because as I said, that we need to change a lot of things on your website, and more important than that, it takes a bit of time until Google notices those changes. So in terms of
Yeah,
starting,
I understand.
yeah, so in terms of starting to see results, it would be around 2 to 3 months, and then 3 to 6 months until you really start seeing the bigger results. So in terms of timelines, it's a bit
Yeah,
different.
but I mean,
And
I'm talking more about, and I'm referring more about the implementation of the CEO. So, what is the timeline for that, and what is the cost?
yeah, so that's what I was trying to say. So in terms of the timeline, that's roughly what I was trying to say. So the first month, 2 months, it's going to be spent around implementing all of these fixes, creating content, building your link structure, and then after 2 to 3 months, you should start seeing results. And then the more SEO is the kind of thing that the more you run it, the more you do it, the better the results you see. In terms of prices, we offer 3 different packages. We offer the bronze, the silver, and the gold. The prices are exactly the same. So it starts at 2497, 3497, 4497. In terms of you, and given that you haven't had any work done on your website, personally, I mean, I could be trying to sell you the most expensive one, but it doesn't make sense. Personally, I think that it's always beneficial to start with a lower one. So start with the bronze, £2497 per month. And as you start seeing the results, and once you start seeing the benefits from it, then you can start looking at upgrading the packages. That is something that you could do. But this to say, and even though I've just been speaking wonders about SEO, I still think that for you, outbound lead generation will be better. It's important. So to start, I think that we should start with an outbound lead generation campaign. And once we get the ball rolling, then we can look at improving your SEO and start working on that as well. Because I think SEO for your particular business won't necessarily be the biggest channel of acquisition for you. I think that outbound lead generation will have better results. And I'm saying this from the experience that we have with clients from our own as well.
Okay, okay, super clear.
But it's
So then,
also
can
very
you?
important. It's also something that is very important. And with SEO and lead generation, that's with the idea that I was also mentioning in the beginning, is that one thing that we've found that has incredible results, and it really affects the overall performance of the campaign. And it's something that we're currently doing with, I want to say, 80 to 85% of the clients we onboard nowadays. And it's something that we also do a bit different than other agencies, is that, as we said, we place a big importance on branding. And one thing that will really benefit your campaign is if we, ahead of the lead generation campaign, we work a bit on the branding of your website, because there's also, as you said, you said it yourself, there's a few design changes you're going to do, because so probably I assume that you also noticed that there are some things that could be a bit better. And in terms of that, I mean, we have a checklist that has, I think, close to 180 little checkpoints that are things on the website that we recommend you implement. Doesn't have to be obviously the 180 checkpoints, especially because those are all on your website. There's some of that are on your website, some of them will be off your website, but there are little things that we call elements of trust. There are things that are beneficial for you to include on your website, so that also the leads convert better. Because what's going to happen is we're going to start booking meetings into your calendar. But once we do, what's going to happen is people are going to start doing their research, their due diligence. From the moment I book the meeting until the moment they take the meeting, they're going to look you on Google, they're going to look you on LinkedIn, they're going to look you on Trustpilot. And it's important that all of these things are in place, so that the leads that we book, the appointments that we book, actually convert into meetings. Because what we realize in these eight years that we've been doing this is that we're booking meetings, but then these meetings weren't showing up to the calls. And we try to understand why, and it's because then they come to your website, that they don't agree with what you do, they don't understand what you do, they don't like what they see, they then start looking you on LinkedIn, they don't find you, they start looking on Trustpilot, they have bad reviews. So it's important to understand that we need to work on all these things just to make sure that your investment brings the best possible returns, basically. So this is something that we like to recommend. Obviously, we don't have to do it if you wouldn't like, but it's something that would definitely benefit your campaign 100%.
Okay. For me, as of the moment, almost everything is clear.
Almost.
Can you share with us?
What's the
Almost.
almost
Yeah,
part?
the more we dive into details, the more questions will arise, definitely.
100%. And I'm here. I have time. If you have time, I'm happy to answer all of your questions. I would hate for you to leave this call with questions. So shoot all of them.
Okay, but then a couple of one request. Can you share with us all these pricing
Of
for
course.
SEO
100%.
and the sales
100%.
services? From the one hand, and from another hand, what do we need to start working tomorrow if we make a decision?
If we need to start working tomorrow, well, as I said, I would send you a payment link. Once that payment link is done, I would send you an onboarding form. You fill out that onboarding form, you send it back to us. We have a call, a strategy call. And after that, we're ready to start. That process usually takes 2 days. And then, as I said, how it would work is the first week, 2 weeks, we would spend together, not only putting together the copy for the emails, the scripts for the calls, the optimizing the LinkedIn profiles, but also getting to know your product. Because something that we also do that is a bit differently is our approach to lead generation. Because, as I said, we've been doing this for 8 years. We've been doing this for a long time. And another thing that we realized is that no one will know more about your business than you do, and no one will know more about lead generation than we do. And so if you really want to make this work, we need to create a bit of a partnership, a bit of a synergy where, as I said, we are going to be reaching out on your behalf, talking to people. And what's going to happen is people are going to start having questions, objections, concerns. And what we're going to do is we're going to share all of this with you, so that you can get a bit of an insight into what people are saying in real time about your company. And we're going to lean on you to understand how to answer these questions, answer these concerns, so that we can perfect the system as possible. And you are going to lean on us, not only for the leads, but then also for this real-time market research that is often more valuable than the lead generation, but we give it to you as a byproduct of our service, to make sure that we can together create the best possible strategy to give you the best possible results as well. Because what a lot of people, what a lot of agencies do is they'll just start reaching out on your behalf. They don't care about studying you, understanding you, and then the results aren't there. And by doing so, we can make sure that together we'll create then the best possible results 100%.
Okay, super clear. So then let's start with it, please. Share with us. Let's start with it. So share with us all the pricing details and let's say the brief of the services.
Yep, I'll do it.
Last thing, and then hopefully we will be in touch.
Yeah, 100%. I'll do that. I'll just have then two questions for you. In terms of the proposal, I'll include the lead generation, the SEO. I can put in there also the PPC for you to have a look. So running ads that could, because I think that especially on LinkedIn could be beneficial. I'll include it there as well. But the question is, would you like something a bit more detailed, to the point, more detailed and more with more information, or something a bit more to the point, more direct, just the prices, the services, and how that looks? I can do both. I'm happy to do both.
It depends. What is your recommendation from what type of the service we need to start?
I
So I
think
believe you are saying about the outbound lead generation, right?
by order, I'll put outbound lead generation, SEO, and PPC. I just want to understand then a bit but I'll put something a bit more detailed, because then I'll also then give my recommendations. I propose a strategy how we can start. I'll put something together a bit more detailed. It'll just be a bit longer, but then I can also just record a quick video to also walk you through it, so that you don't have to necessarily read through it.
Okay.
Or I'll just record a quick video and you can watch the video. Might be easier. So I'll put together something more detailed that answers one question, and then second question would be from your side and your end. Then when would you be looking to start? Because you said that obviously you're doing some changes to the website, so I'm assuming that there might be a bit of a lag between the now and when you want to start. So I just trying to understand when you'd like to
Yeah,
start.
definitely, because we are doing changes for the website, we are doing changes for the LinkedIn
Okay.
pages, etc.
So in terms of when you would like to start, is it something that you want to start tomorrow? Is it something that you want to start in a week, 2 weeks, a month, yesterday?
Actually, as soon as possible, but
We're still talking to
being
another
put,
agencies,
I
probably
believe, realistic, I would say 1 2 weeks.
1 2 weeks. Okay, no, that makes perfect sense. And I'm assuming that you're probably also speaking to other agencies. And if you're not, you should probably. That would be the right thing to do. Perfect.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. And then in terms of if you're already speaking to other agencies, that's something that I always also like to ask usually, is that in terms of what you've been hearing and in terms of what you heard now, how do you feel about the process? How do you feel? Is there anything that, and especially because you're the CEO, you're the person who would make the decision ultimately. So I'd like to understand if there's something standing in the way and something that you don't agree with, something that you don't like so much, then I would also like to understand that.
Mhm. As of the moment, I don't have any, let's say, mentally contradictions,
Okay.
mental contradictions. And the way you explain, it seems clear. The only
Mm-hmm.
question mark in my head is what the revenue these customers will bring me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it will be 200 customers with the 10K revenue each, so I would say it will be super hard to manage, because the overhead for each of the
Yeah.
projects
Capacity.
will be super high when you have one big fish,
Mm-hmm.
you
It'll be
know.
a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I got it. But these are the things that then we'll sit together to understand. If you'd like bigger clients and less of them, more clients but big but small.
But at
Like
the
trying to,
same time, in my experience, people never trust you at the beginning, right?
that's the
And
thing.
they always give you, I don't know, 5K project, and they look at you. And meanwhile, you will not grow your own brand in their eyes, inside their eyes of them. I
Exactly.
don't know how to say it in English, but you know what I mean, right?
Yes, yeah, hundred
Because
percent.
they need to start trusting you,
That's the
trust
thing.
you.
That's the thing, and that's exactly why I don't tell you, for example, SEO. There's no point in you going for the more expensive package until you trust us and until you see the results. And it's
Mhm.
kind of the same for the lead gen. It's a bit, as you said, in the beginning, it's going to be a bit of a leap of faith. You're going to have to try, because to be honest, if you want leads and you won't get leads until you try one. You're going to have to make a decision with one of them. It's just a matter of understanding then who you're more inclined
Yeah,
to.
definitely. It's no doubt. You
It's
need to
just,
try,
and that's exactly why we
always.
also like to work as a pay-as-you-go service, because let's say worst case scenario, this is a train wreck, we do horribly, at least we're a pay-as-you-go service. You don't have to stick with us for 6 12 months. You just a pay-as-you-go service as an incentive of you can try us out. If you like, you keep working. If not, then you can also welcome to go. But this to say, in terms of a campaign, it's important to understand that first month, as I said, is going to be a bit of a, but this is with us or any other agency. But first month is a bit of a ramp up period, setting up everything. So first 2 to 3 weeks, it's a bit about setting up the campaign. Then we start reaching out. You should already see results in the first month, but would never be an optimal month. Month number 2, you can start seeing more results, but it's also a bit about perfecting the system and understanding what's working best. So let's say LinkedIn is working best, calls is working best. And then month number 3 is where we actually already know what's going on, and we can double down on what's working on, and then we can start expediting the process. So to say that if you're going to run a campaign, if you're going to say for 1 month, then I say don't even bother, because it'll just be chucking away money. And 2 months, maybe, but definitely 3 months is when you can get a big judge of of other campaigns going.
Okay, super clear. Then send us what we just requested, and also the template of this service agreement.
100%.
Just to have a look.
I'll do that. I'll put together then the proposal service agreement, and I'll get that through to you. I'll try to aim for end of day today, but I have a bunch of meetings coming up. So if not end of day today, I'll end of day tomorrow then.
This week would be good.
Perfect. All right. I mean, if you don't have any more questions, if everything's clear, not almost clear.
No more questions from my side. No.
I don't know if
Thanks.
Aliona, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I mean, I asked the one that actually I have about the sales oriented, let's say, and marketing
and now
oriented.
Everything's clear. Any more questions?
Which was explained also on the web page, so that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I mean, if you don't have more questions, I'm happy to leave it here. I'll follow up then with the proposal, everything, SLA, and then we'll take it from there then.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, John.
Perfect.
Have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.
Have a nice day.
Cheers.